Hello, I'm Elena Sanchez, she, her. I'm a visual artist and an architect based in Athens, Greece. I'm mainly Greek and a bit Italian. In the occasion of the 8th of March, I would like to invite Maria Theodorou, an architect researcher with a practice in architecture and architecture research and a practice in educational structures. For example, she initiated the School of Architecture for All, SARCA, which was also the occasion where we met, as I was an associate of this non-profit organization. So the idea is to let her speak a bit about her participation in the initiatives of the Greek Association of Architects for the creation of an archive of female architects, and especially in the creation of a feminist approach to the writing of professional CVs. Hello, Maria.
Oh, hi, Elena. Thank you so much for inviting me. And I think it's, the proper occasion to publicize this archive because, tomorrow, on the 8th of March is the date we celebrate women. So this is the archive that was initiated by the Association of Greek Architects. And I was part of this initiative. So it was funded by with European funds, and the aim of the archive, as many of the archives that are created, regarding women architects, is the first aim is to give visibility to women. Professional architects, in this case, women professional architects in Greece. So there was a team, a women's team that undertook the task to create this archive, and initially they produced a standard format to be filled by selected women architects that included just a chronological and listing of achievements, a standard type of professional CV. However, a number of women in the organization of the team, but also some of the women that were asked to provide, their professional CV, thought that women's experience of practicing architecture is far more complex to be contained within the standard type of professional CV. Because in professional CVs, there are no gaps. It's always, has to be a success story almost. So there are no gaps. One step leads to the next and eventually to success. And you see this chronological enlisting of successes. So women, of course, they compete, to get a position in the architecture, profession, and they had in the past and still have, to write such, kind of standard professional CVs. And of course, there's always a moment of panic for women when they had to explain gaps in the chronology of their, production in their CVs. Gaps do not look good to employers, and women they need to urgently to find ways to cover those gaps because the time devoted to self-care or care for others is outright excluded from those professional CVs. So in a way, writing a standard professional CV contradicts women's experience of their profession in architecture. For women architects, they know all too well that their professional life is constantly entangled with events that are part and parcel of their lives and cannot be separated from the way and the outcomes of their practice. For instance, I was practicing architect for a number of years. I never had a proper office. I was always using our dining table to design, but also, to see my clients. All my productions was happening where, family life also happened. I was, using, this table to, design and have my baby on my shoulder, speaking, on the phone, on the other side. So it was always, a juggling, and that was also, the experience, and still is, the experience of many women. So that's why, there are women some women that were invited, thought that it might be more productive, actually, to present, a full picture of what it means to be a woman practicing architecture. And also, this is also part and parcel of, feminism demands today, which, they aim to a reconsideration of various aspects of the profession, and especially the way life itself seems to be set apart from the expected productivity of work. So in this archive, some of us, some women, we produced these different, profiles, experimenting with this different type of professional profile. So this includes, the variety of ways women architects have experienced their education and the practicing of their profession. So self-devised methodologies, disappointments, dreams, fantasies, conflicts, which are usually excluded from the professional CVs, are included in this case and produce a different narrative of the profession. When these experiences of women are assembled together and are presented in an archive that is open to everyone, it provides this comprehensive overview of the life of women in architecture, at least in Greece, because this was, this is the archive that gathers together, a number of Greek women architects. So because the archive is online and it's open, it's not enough, for an archive to be online. It has to be open and accessible, to the wider public, and of course, to researchers. Its content, provides material also for, research on this experience of women architects. And, this material has the potential to generate experimentation towards a different understanding and thus a different future of the architecture education practice. So the archive, even though it started as with this aim to provide visibility, at the end, it accomplished more than, this kind of need for visibility for women architects, because, the feminist approach it employs produces a feminist professional profile that records women's comprehensively women's experience in architecture, which are registered and collected together, and with which one can think the profession differently. So we are currently at a time where feminists, of course, it doesn't make demands for women only. Feminism and feminist demands are sought a different way of life and working for everyone, for all genders, all categories of genders. So I think this archive is just a step towards this reconsideration of the profession as we know it, and I hope the younger generation will have input in this archive, and the archive will be expanded, and many feminist profiles will be written in the near future. So thank you for having me today and giving me the opportunity to say a few words about this archive. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you very much. This is very interesting. Really hope that in the future this will be the normality and much more. Thank you.
Thank you.